Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. Militia Man and Crew, just want to say hello and welcome to the program. And I just want to say thank you again for all of your guys' support, because this is why I'm here each week, multiple times. But thank you. You know, the value that we bring in patreon.com and our Discord chat room, it's $11.99. It's great, it's fun, and you'll be able to get, I don't know, thousands of pages of data right where I get all my data. And Super Samson and Gigi will help you guys come in, and we appreciate it. And all of you that have been around for a long time, I'm glad you're happy. And I'm actually impressed by a lot of the feedback I get from all of you, because one of the main things is that communication is really dynamic. And kudos to all you, especially the last few days in Discord. There's a bunch of you. I can't mention all of you, but the bottom line is I want to say thank you, because you know, having good communication in Discord makes it simple sometimes for people. It makes a better understanding, and that's where that value is. So come on in and join us. Check it out. If you are, well, of course, many of you are already. So thank you again. But anyway, think about this for a minute. All these articles that we're going to go over tonight is about success and Iraq's position in the regional world. She's going to be, and she is showing that she's going to be a pivotal player in the region again. Right back like she was with the Arab League. The Arab League Summit is what we're talking about. So it says here, the economic circles welcome the results of the Development Summit, or the Arab Summit, right? It says strengthening Arab economic integration. We talked about that on my last video. Supporting development projects and opening up new horizons for joint investment between Arab countries. It says the summit distinguished itself from its predecessors, so it's been different, by presenting strategic initiatives that touch upon the core of Arab economic reality, most notably the Development Road Project. We all know that Development Road Project is going to be a very big project, and it's going to create massive amount of revenue streams for the country, and it's also going to create jobs. It's going to do so much. It's going to allow more tourism, religious tourism. Iraq's background is phenomenal. I think you guys probably should know that by now. So anyway, it goes on, the Development Road Project. It says it was presented as a platform to connect Arab economies with Europe and Asia. It also calls for the establishment of a joint financial fund, the modernization of infrastructure, the activation of inter-trade agreements. So that's connecting all the countries into Iraq. Okay, what are they going to? What's it going to contribute to? They talk about achieving food, energy, technology, security. We've been seeing all the buzzwords: security, stability, sustainability, and they keep talking about the same thing. And why? Because it's important. They're driving a theme throughout the region. It's not just Iraq. This is a theme that's here in the United States. They're talking about security and stability for all different kinds of countries, because security is a place where you can have development. Okay, so it says that the economic circles praise the summit's organization, the effective management by the government. The Prime Minister, Sheikh al-Sudani, gets credit for that. It's overseen by the President, Dr. Abdul Latif Jamal Rashid. He's part of the process. It says that the summit demonstrated Iraq's ability to lead, okay, inclusive Arab economic initiatives and restore Baghdad's pivotal position, there's that word, pivotal, position as a capital of consensus and strategic planning. Consensus means that everybody's in agreement. I think that's big, because I think the theme that we're seeing is that that's exactly what it is. The region and the world are embracing Iraq. It says the Baghdad summit witnessed a welcome and praise from the Arab delegations for the initiatives presented by Iraq, which later became the focus of public discussion among the participants. So everybody's getting engaged. It says particularly regarding the importance of Arab solidarity in supporting development and investment in Arab countries. The Development Road Project, that's what they're embodied. I believe that's what they're doing. It says the Arab Summit in Baghdad was distinguished by its world-class standards in both terms of initiatives and proposed programs. That's a pretty bold statement. It says the economic reform era for the next decade, so it's going to be ongoing from 2025 to 2035. It says, and the Development Road Project as an Arab and regional collaborative project together constitute a new roadmap for advancing Arab economies and strengthening partnerships between the countries of the region. That lays it out. That's effectively the roadmap. This gentleman also highlights that the importance of Arab solidarity, the Solidarity Fund, so they got money coming in, and the adoption of the principle of no security without development. So in other words, no security without development, vice versa, I'm assuming. It says the summit witnessed a qualitative shift in the level of attendance and its outcomes. So they've changed. They've actually upgraded. They've made a difference. This time it wasn't. Maybe there's been turmoil, and this time around, Iraq stood solid and got other participants to actually come on board with Iraq's vision. That's really a big deal. It says that Dr. Abdul Karim al-Asawi, he says countries possess the economic and financial and human resources, Iraq's got a lot of youth, and capabilities that are capable of achieving prosperity and progress. He added in that the Arab group, a bloc, right, is among the first international groups to establish agreements for economic and trade cooperation, parallel to the European Union's experience, reflecting the historical, will build complementary partnerships among Arab countries. Asawi goes on and says that it is expected that Iraq will witness a new era in an economic diplomacy in the coming period based on employing foreign policy to serve development, attract investment, and strengthen regional and international partnerships. Look, the partnerships that they have now are basically presenting a fresh start. The Arab Summit is showing a real success. So regional and international partnerships, that's what's been taking place in Iraq. And so we get back to this particular article. It says the summit establishes promising economic partnerships, and I just mentioned that. It goes and says that Iraq has emerged as one of the most prominent poles of this trend, given its strong foundations in the energy sector and promising development opportunities at the regional and international levels, particularly with its adoption of the Development Road Project, which is going to be a strategic driver for international trade between the East and West. Again, that's going to be a massive amount of money coming through there. The development, the jobs created, I mean, all kinds of things. And Iraq has shown those that showed up a fascinating ability to build Baghdad to be different. I think that's one of the driving forces for a lot of people, that they see, wow, there really truly is security and stability. We can walk the streets of Baghdad at night. It's fascinating. So the Prime Minister's financial advisor, the Mohammed Saleh, he described the presence of Arab leaders at the Baghdad summit as a victory for Arab economic issues, emphasizing that many of the participating countries are seeking to advance their economies to more advanced and integrated levels. Well, they're probably going to try to do that on the back of the Development Road Project. Okay, he added that Iraq possesses the third largest oil reserves in the world. He goes on and says these factors that the speaker is talking about constitute a strong incentive for the success of the summit, which obviously that's what they're talking about. It has had success. So anyway, this gentleman goes on, Mohammed, says he stresses that the Arab countries possess enormous natural and human resources that qualify them to be an effective economic center at the global level, noting that human resources represent the main axis in operations. Well, human capital. Iraq's got a lot of employees, and so do other countries. And they're willing to come in and help with the Development Road Project. He points out that global partnerships constitute a fundamental support factor for these ambitions, provided they are based on a unified Arab vision that enhances the region's economic position and places it on the global influence map. So in other words, they're going to place it in a global standing. It says the path to development, a gateway to integration. And he goes on, a gentleman, another guy who's an expert, and his name is Adnan Bahia. He's a doctor, Dr. Adnan Bahia. He states that the most important aspect of the summit, emphasizing the main focus of much of the attendees, was economic integration and investment exchange among Arab countries to strengthen ties and integration among Arab countries rather than attracting foreign investment. So the integration between the Arab countries being more localized, more so than outside investment. And then it goes on, and there's a little bit more to it. It says that another gentleman says, the Arab Summit represented a promising opportunity to diversify economic activities in the country through the influx of Arab capital and attracting investments, noting that Iraq can benefit from the contribution of Arab investments to the Development Road Project. It says, this summit has been an opportunity to attract Arab investments, especially those from the Gulf countries with financial abundance, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, and to invest these investments in oil and gas and technology sectors. What is it for? To benefit partnerships in agricultural projects and help out other countries such as Egypt, Sudan, and Algeria. So amazing amount of information. There's a lot more. This is a 5-page report, but the bottom line is I'm just getting to some of the key points. They've invested in what they're believing is that the Development Road Project is going to cost about $17 billion, which is going to be a lot more than Iraq can handle on her own, and the GCC countries are looking to help out. It says the government can't do it alone, and therefore the doors are open to an influx of Arab and regional investments. He goes on and explains that Iraq's integration into the Arab economic system would be accompanied by mutual investment and capital transfers. Capital transfers, that sounds like currency swaps. Because why? They're all going to be doing trade. Iraq's going to be doing trade in the dinar. They sound like they may very well be doing trade also in their respective currencies, pairing to the dinar. So that's what it sounds like. He goes on and expresses his hope that the understandings had begun before the summit and that there would be an announcement of economic initiatives that would have a developmental impact on all countries and participating in the summit, including Iraq. I don't know, you guys, that sounds to me like when he says there would be an announcement of economic initiatives that would have a developmental impact on all countries. I don't know, if you change the value of your currency and you start swapping currencies with others, I think it's going to have an impact. And that's one of the things that I've been talking about, is that when they have the ability to adjust the value of their currency, they're going to have all these countries that will be impacted on the same page and at the same time. And I believe the summit probably set that stage because of their approval. They have suggested that Iraq has been very successful, and they're giving their approval effectively. So keep that in mind, because that little bit right there, those key points, those are hard tidbits to find, but that's what we do with Militia Man and Crew. We try to analyze it the best we can. We're not always right, but we do present it in a manner where, whoa, that kind of makes sense. And we go with it if it fits. So I hope you guys take that seriously, because that's what we do. And we do. Okay. Here's another article that says the Baghdad Summit has redrawn the map of regional relations. It says the Arab Summit hosted at the capital of Baghdad and it reflected a great diplomatic and organizational success. So they're using the word success, constantly, just like they are using security, stability, sustainability. Now they're using success. Okay. It says reaffirming Iraq's ability to play an active and pivotal role in the Arab and regional environment. This summit came to embody the image of a new, safe, and stable Iraq capable of gathering Arabs under the banner of cooperation and integration under ideal political and security conditions that received wide praise from the leaders and delegations participating. The summit represented an important station in the path of Iraq's foreign policy and a clear message to the world that Baghdad has regained its natural position as the capital of dialogue and joint Arab action. Basically, it goes on and says Iraq's return to the Arab facade. Basically, what is it talking about? It says the summit was held in a stable and safe atmosphere, and the organization was at the highest levels. The delegations praised the preparations, including the Spanish Prime Minister, the Secretary General of the United Nations, and the heads of their Arab delegations. It says the Baghdad summit sent a clear message that Iraq is capable of organizing major conferences, that it has returned strongly to the Arab regional front with a balanced policy. It says that there's more than 18 initiatives that were announced during the summit, which is an important Iraqi step to build a new reality. I like that part. On the foundations of joint Arab cooperation, it says the great success of the summit is due to the efforts of the Iraqi government led by the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and who received the praise of all those that were present. He says, well, no, this lady, she stresses that this success is a clear message to the world that Iraq is strong, capable, and able to gather the Arabs under its flag. It says the media marketing of the summit was at a professional level and showed a bright image of the country. It says this al-Sadi, this different folk. It says, I'm not certain, yeah, al-Sadi is the man, forgive me. Explained that Iraq launched important initiatives during the summit. It says Baghdad presented a different message to the Arab world, and some Arab leaders and officials changed their positions after participating in the summit, like I mentioned earlier, and witnessed the development. So they changed their positions because they've witnessed the development. They've witnessed what Iraq has done by just traveling in and seeing it, seeing the country. Amazing. So he goes on and says that this person, Ahmed Saddam, he says that the Arab consensus in the summit's decisions, especially with regard to economic and developmental and political files, foremost of which is the Palestinian issue and the files of Sudan and Yemen, because there's been a lot of turmoil. And so Iraq, being the mediator, has just hit the ball out of the park, help people change their views. He stressed the importance of transforming outputs into actual work programs, especially in the economic aspect, activating joint projects such as the Way of Development, and stimulating Gulf sovereign wealth funds to invest in Iraq in light of improved political relations. And this article coming to an end, it basically says that the guests expressed their fascination with the level of reconstruction and development in the capital of Baghdad, which has become a gateway towards a new stage of development and stability. So they have a fascination of how much reconstruction and development has taken place in the capital of Baghdad today. Okay. The 34th Arab Summit concluded in the capital on yesterday. No, I guess, sorry, forgive me, Saturday. They did that successfully amid Arab and international praise in terms of organization. And the gentleman at the end of the day, he says, Baghdad will always remain an arena for joint Arab action, a source of strength and capacity, and a pillar in Arab decision-making, which is reflected in its hosting of the brothers and the initiatives of decision that become out of that. For what? To keep peace with the scale of challenges they face today. So that is, again, a message to the region and the international community that as Iraq has approval for its development road project, The 34th Arab Summit received regional and international praise for the accomplishments they've made in this development. Al-Sudani has led the effort for the past 2 years and set the stage for a successful summit, and it looks like it happened. The country is clearly set to integrate into the global financial system as far as I can see. Expectations have been high. I talked about the white knuckle weekend. Well, that's what was expected because we were waiting for it. It's like, waiting, hold on. But the bottom line is that we're finding out that it is a success, and they do have an approval. So let me get to this next article. So this article, the Arab Summit reflected an honorable image of Iraq. The head of the Sovereignty Alliance, a gentleman by the name of Kanjar, confirmed that the Arab Summit reflected an honorable image of Iraq. It says, we congratulate the Iraqi Prime Minister, Sudani, on the success of the work of the Arab Summit hosted by Baghdad in organization and outputs, despite all the attempts that sought to thwart, and its leaders were non-national parties and do not represent the aspirations of the Iraqis or their interests. Interesting, there was positive news coming out, but there was probably parties out there that were outside the country that were creating a stir. Okay? Not surprising, not surprising at all. The summit reflected an honorable image of Iraq and its ability to reunite the Arab and restore its pivotal role in the region, an achievement that's calculated for the government, the Iraqi government, and its perseverance despite the difficult circumstances. And so, obviously, they're getting an honorable. We saw that, I think the last video we talked about the Medal of Honor, and then here we're talking about reflected an honorable image. I think that's really a good sign of the successes. And this particular political researcher, it says that the Arab Summit proved Iraq's leadership in the region and its key role within it. This gentleman by the name of Omar al-Nasser, it says, confirmed that the recent Arab Summit clearly demonstrated that Iraq is now at the forefront of the regional scene, having assumed a leadership position and became a key player in the region's political map. Al-Nasser speaks to this. He says, Iraq has the ability to play a role of initiative and maneuver, benefiting from the state of security and political stability it's witnessing. He's also going on and says, Iraq's initiative to propose a draft resolution to form a council of Arab trade ministers to discuss economic issues is a strategic step, which constitutes an economic lever for all Arab countries, particularly since the Development Road project represents Iraq's third river due to its cross-border economic and developmental dimensions. I like that part. The presence of foreign delegations and international organizations at the summit is evidence that Iraq has regained its natural place among influential countries. We talked about Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan. They're working on Syria, the neighbor, even Iran. I mean, they really have this third river, the Development Road project, at everybody's fingertips for investment. Everybody's been welcomed in. Anyway, this is a powerful time frame to be watching. I think Iraq has finally assumed that leadership role among influential countries again. That's what they're implying. Iraq is back in a position as a powerful player in the regional decision making. So now they're not only talking about economic decisions, but they're talking about political decisions. Development Road project will entail cross-border economic and development dimensions. Having security and stability and with partnerships in the country will gain economic sustainability. This is, to me, is just more evidence that Iraq has regional and international approval for integration into the global financial system. And I think that's very apparent with what we're reading. And to get to closer to the end of what I got to say is that there's another political researcher. It says that the Arab Summit proved Iraq's leadership in the region and its key role within it. This gentleman says he confirms that the recent Arab Summit clearly demonstrated that Iraq is now at the forefront of the regional scene, having assumed the leader position and became a key player in the region's political map. Iraq has the ability to play the role of the initiative and maneuver, benefiting from the state of security and political stability it's witnessing. It says Iraq's initiative to propose draft resolution to form a Council of Arab Trade Ministers to discuss issues in a strategic step. And it is a strategic step, particularly given its proposal for the reconstruction of affected countries, which constitutes an economic lever for all of the Arab countries, particularly since the Development Road project, again, is the third river. It's basically going on and saying same information. The presence of the foreign delegations and international organizations is evidence, again, to regain its natural place among influential countries. And they just reiterated it a little bit differently. Baghdad's position is as a powerful player in the region, political decision making. So that's, I don't know how much they can say other than what I said earlier, is that Iraq has taken her place back in international and regional standing. Okay, in this particular article is interesting too, but it's about Washington. We talked about this in the past, last video. The Kurdistan region signs 2 strategic energy agreements with who? Washington. They were in Washington yesterday, after the summit. Interesting. Okay, it says that as part of this official visit to the United States, Kurdistan Regional Government Prime Minister Massoud Barzani oversaw the signing of 2 important agreements in the energy sector today, Monday, at the headquarters of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. It says a statement points out that 2 agreements were concluded between the 2 Kurdistan Regional Government on the one hand, the American oil companies, which are HKN Energy. I would look them up and see who they're related to. I think you're going to find that the son of Ross Perot is at HKN. Okay. Western Zagros, on the other hand, which are companies specialized in this vital field, so they're talking about energy. And it says these 2 agreements are estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars, and they aim to develop and grow the oil and energy sector in the Kurdistan region, in addition to strengthening its economic infrastructure. What I find interesting about this is that the Kurdistan region is dealing with Iran. About 60% of all trade from Iran to Iraq goes through the Kurdistan region. And also, we realize that there's an influence in Turkey, and I understand that Turkey may very well be involved in meetings as well in the United States, in Washington today. But 60% is a big part of the trade. And so if you think about the pressure that is probably on the United States and Iraq and Iran to work together, to have development. And they talk about that security and development, you can't have them. If you have prosperity in Iraq, you're going to have, or you should have prosperity in Iran. And so I think the pressure right now is coming to a head where that you have regional approval. If you happen to be an odd man out, say for instance, because of the nature of the circumstance, one country doesn't want to play with everybody else, they're not going to look very good, because everybody at that summit is on board for Iraq to be prosperous so that everybody can gain. And so if somebody throws a wrench in the pie, it's probably going to break some teeth. So anyway, that's my way of saying it. But ultimately, I think you guys get the point. But thank you for being with me. I appreciate it. Militia Man and Crew, if you guys like the content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And once again, thank you for all your help and support. It helps keep the cogs going and bringing this to you.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.